These are 22 more secret details you might have missed in the new Separate Ways DLC. Make sure to watch part 1 if you guys missed that, and also a huge thank you to everybody that did comment more secret details in the comments. You guys are definitely getting a shout out. But in any case, let's get started. Number 1, before going to the lab in the castle section with Luis, if you wait long enough, Luis will mention, "Is something burning?" and Eder will respond, "I guess we'll find out."
Is something burning? Guess we'll find out.
Number 2, Insanity Rex lets us know that if you use the infrared scope on Pesanta, all the fake ones automatically disappear. Though after further testing, I only managed to get rid of one fake Pesanta at a time. So it does work, but it's not the most efficient since only one disappears every time you look down the scope. So let me know in the comments if I didn't do it correctly. Number 3, J Tachi and Obscure Music Archives lets us know that at the end of Chapter 7, after Eda is done talking with Ashley, there's a rhinoceros beetle hidden right next to the shutters heading to the previous Sadler fight. Number 4, Bowser 52 lets us know 4 secret details, starting with, when you fight Sadler in the end game, it's possible to see several death cutscenes depending on how far you are from Sadler. If you're far from Sadler and press R2, Ada will throw her knife and then hook shot into Sadler. The second way is if you're really close and then press R2 in front of Sadler, the cutscene with the pillar hookshot will play. And the last cutscene that's also possible that I found was if you decide to shoot him with an RPG, he'll just die on the spot. This cutscene also triggers if you just ignore the R2 knife prompt and just shoot him with a blast crossbow bolt. Number 5, in the village section, as soon as Ada heads for the church, if you decide to go back to the town hall, the door is locked, but it's possible to hear Leon fighting the Ganados in the village square. Number 6, speaking of hearing Leon, this is also possible near the end of the castle section, right when Ada chases Krauser to the elevator that leads to the boats. If you decide to backtrack and go next to the door or the bridge/door where a Salazar fight occurs, you can also hear Leon fighting him. Number 7, in the island section, after acquiring the power unit for the door, if you decide to return to the area where you can see the regenerators in those purple tubes, a JJ will appear in the dark since you shut down the power to the area. Number 8, Blue Flare, Pineapple Slice, and Abodo Alpha lets us know that when Ada is on the roof of the church waiting for Luis, you can actually see Luis being carried by Mendez in a body bag. It's in the bottom left corner, and it's also worth noting that out of all the secret details I've found, I completely missed the most obvious one.
stood up again. Sounds like he could use a little help.
Number 9, Royos and user QG lets us know that the silver and gold bottles are a nod to the Resident Evil village and look very similar to the Dimitrescu wine bottle, aka the Sanguis Virginis, which translates to the blood of the virgin. The insignia on the grill also refers to the Dimitrescu family insignia. Number 10, and speaking of Resident Evil 8, there's also another asset that's inspired by that game as well. It's a treasure that can be found in the Amber Room in the island section, right at the start of Chapter 6 of the game. If you go to the corner of the room, the treasure is that of a crystal ore, which, as mentioned, is very reminiscent of the treasure you could acquire from defeating bosses in Resident Evil Village.
You're the one who's cursed.
I also noticed in my analytics that 94% of people that are enjoying my videos are not subscribed to the channel. So consider subscribing if you guys want to support what I do here on YouTube. And also if you guys want to see Resident Evil videos every single week. But in any case, let's continue with the list. Number 11, JStar96 lets us know that after Eder passes out and is rescued by Wesker, once you return to the village square on the way to fight the El Gigante, the house on the left, if you enter and look on the bed, you can find a golden egg. It's honestly funny how you find the golden egg here rather than in the oven in Mendez's house like in the OG separate ways. Since as we covered in the previous video, that egg that can be found in the oven in the remake is just a normal brown egg. So if anything, it's strange that they changed the location of the golden egg. Number 12, Adolescent Muser lets us know that in the island section in the wide area where the turrets are located in, it's possible to shoot them down with your blast crossbow before you jump down. Though it's worth mentioning that this becomes incredibly harder to do if you haven't maxed the damage on the crossbow. So make sure to do that before you attempt this.
You've exhausted our normal range of that. Wield it. Don't get yourself killed now.
Number 13, Beatrice tells us that at the start of Chapter 6 in the Amber Room, before Eder takes the elevator, you can actually hide and have the enemies run past you. Beatrice also states that if you go out of your way to kill them, and if you manage to stealth kill all of them, Ada's gonna say, there, nice and tidy. Though unfortunately, this never happened for me. I actually did this 6 times, but I never heard Eda speak. Number 14, Vivian tells us a secret that blew me away. She states that when Eda parks the jet ski near the start of Chapter 7 in the island section, you can see the jet ski keys in her hand. What's interesting about this is that they don't have the teddy bear that we later see when Eda passes those very same keys to Leon. This would indicate that canonically, Eda in Chapter 7 buys the teddy bear charm from the merchant for 70,000 pesetas. This is honestly a secret detail that I completely missed, and I just assumed it was Wesker that gave Eda a teddy bear key. Which would have been super weird. So thank you, Vivian, for catching this. Number 15, Fanboy lets us know that Pesanta's staff attack also has red eyes on it. And he also mentions that using a flashbang instantly gets rid of all of the fake Pesantas instantly. And I have to say, this strat works really well. Number 16, He Loves Me More, Abdo Alpha, and Gabo lets us know that in the settings of Separate Ways, specifically in the display settings, it's possible to switch Ada's iris color to either white, red, blue, and green. It's worth noting that even though default and blue are both technically blue, the reason it says blue is because it's a different shade. Number 17, Michiman and Abdul Alpha bring an excellent point regarding separate ways. They state that in the village section in Mendez's house, when Ada gets up after Mendez throws her, this specific scene was also found in the first trailers of Resident Evil 4 Remake, indicating that separate ways was already being developed during that time frame. Number 18, Abdul Alpha lets us know several more secrets. One of them is near the end of the game when Ada reaches the red RPG after grabbing it, she'll state deja vu, which is a reference to Resident Evil 2 where she also passes Leon a similar weapon. But it is worth mentioning as well that this deja vu could also just be referring to Ada seeing the red RPG a few minutes before.
Deja vu.
Number 19, Abdul Alpha also mentions that the ganado that wears glasses near the church is a reference to the original Resident Evil 4, where in certain locations, some ganados would wear glasses, like the waterfall section. Number 20, Pierre Romero lets us know that when Ada releases the chicken in the oven and states, "Fly, my pretty," this is a reference to the Wizard of Oz. Though, after looking into this further, apparently this is a huge misquote that a lot of people get wrong, since in the movie, the witch actually just says, "Fly, fly, fly." Yet, whenever this scene is mentioned in other films and media, people remember it as "Fly, my pretty." So it is technically still a reference from Wizard of Oz, but it's funny how it's just, a misquote.
Fly, my pretty.
Number 21, in the village section, specifically in the factory, you can see one ganado in particular sport a hat. This again is a reference to the OG Separate Ways, where in the gondola section, you could also see this specific ganado going up the stairs. Number 22, right before you leave the merchant for the last time in Separate Ways, he'll state, "I'm brimming with excitement. You're really going to do it, stranger." Which is a funny detail since it just shows that the merchant is actually rooting for Ada.
And come back anytime.
I can hardly contain myself. You're really gonna do it, stranger.
Now, if you guys enjoyed this secret details video, make sure to click this video to see the previous one, and thank you so much for watching.